Fasting is more than just abstaining from food. It is a divine strategy for transformation. It is a discipline that aligns the body, soul, and spirit, opening the door to clarity, strength, and a deeper connection to purpose. When you fast, you silence the distractions that often cloud your mind, allowing you to hear with precision, see with vision, and move with confidence. In the natural, food sustains the body, but in the spiritual, fasting sustains the soul. It creates an atmosphere where you can break free from habits, limitations, and thoughts that have held you back. It is in this place of surrender that renewal begins, where fresh revelation comes and where your spirit gains the authority to lead rather than being ruled by the impulses of the flesh. Fasting shifts the focus from temporary satisfaction to lasting fulfillment. It teaches discipline, cultivates self-control, and awakens the power within you to overcome challenges. It breaks chains that have been hidden in plain sight, exposing areas that need healing and restoration. It prepares you for seasons of promotion and equips you to handle the weight of your purpose. When you fast with intention, you position yourself for breakthroughs that cannot be achieved by human effort alone. It is in these moments of surrender that strength is renewed, faith is deepened, and vision is sharpened. Your perspective changes, your heart is purified, and your steps become aligned with divine timing. This is the power of fasting. It is not about deprivation, but preparation. It is not about loss, but about gain. It is not about weakness, but about discovering the strength that has always been within you, waiting to be awakened. Fasting is more than just abstaining from food. It is a deliberate act of aligning the body, soul, and spirit for a higher purpose. In a world filled with constant noise, distractions, and endless demands, it is easy to become disconnected from the deeper aspects of life. The body craves comfort, the mind is consumed with responsibilities, and the spirit often takes a back seat. But when you engage in fasting, you create an intentional space to bring these three dimensions into harmony. When the body is subdued through fasting, the spirit becomes more dominant, allowing for greater sensitivity to wisdom, guidance, and divine revelation. The natural instincts that drive daily decisions begin to lose their grip, and a higher level of awareness takes over. The noise of the world fades, and a sense of clarity emerges, leading to deeper self-reflection. It is in this state that you begin to understand your purpose with renewed focus, unburdened by the distractions that once clouded your vision. Fasting also enhances self-discipline, teaching the body that it is not in control. It is a training ground for the soul, strengthening the will to resist instant gratification and reinforcing the power of intentional living. This alignment between body, soul, and spirit does not just impact the period of fasting itself, but extends into everyday life, bringing a greater sense of order, peace, and direction. Through this process, you begin to walk with greater confidence, not dictated by temporary desires, but led by a deeper understanding of who you are and what you are called to do. Fasting is a process of purification, not just physically, but spiritually and mentally as well. When you refrain from food or certain comforts, your body goes through a detoxification process, eliminating waste and impurity. In the same way, your mind and spirit experience a cleansing effect, removing negative thoughts, limiting beliefs and distractions that have accumulated over time. This purification creates a renewed sense of clarity, allowing you to see beyond your immediate struggles and gain a deeper perspective on life. The constant intake of food, media, and external influences can cloud judgment and dull sensitivity to higher wisdom. But when you fast, you strip away the excess, creating space for something greater. You become more aware of the things that truly matter, and your spirit becomes more attuned to the voice of purpose. This purification process is not about deprivation, but about making room for transformation. It is an intentional act of surrender, releasing the things that weigh you down, in exchange for a renewed mind, a strengthened spirit, and a clearer vision for your life. Through fasting, you break unhealthy cycles, whether they be patterns of negative thinking, bad habits, or emotional burdens that have held you back. It resets your focus, allowing you to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. It reminds you that life is not just about satisfying physical needs, but about nourishing the soul. The process may be uncomfortable, but the rewards are undeniable. What you gain in spiritual strength mental clarity, and emotional peace far outweighs what you temporarily give up. Fasting is not about losing something. It is about gaining a renewed sense of purpose and direction that can change your life forever. Fasting enhances self-discipline, strengthening the ability to govern your desires and impulses rather than being ruled by them. In a world where instant gratification is promoted at every turn, the ability to exercise self-control is rare but essential. When you deny yourself food or certain comforts for a set period, you train your mind and body to submit to a higher purpose rather than immediate cravings. This practice sharpens your willpower, teaching you that you are not a slave to your physical urges, but a master over them. Discipline is the foundation of success in every area of life. Without it, talent remains untapped, dreams go unrealized, and potential is wasted. Fasting becomes a tool that strengthens the ability to stay committed, resist distractions, and push through challenges. It is not just about skipping meals. It is about proving to yourself that you can make intentional choices despite difficulty. It reminds you that if you can control what enters your body, you can also control what enters your mind and heart. When discipline is cultivated through fasting, it extends to other areas of life. It helps develop consistency in your goals, resilience in hardships, and patience in waiting for the right opportunities. The ability to say no to temporary satisfaction translates into the ability to say yes to long-term success. What may seem like a small act of restraint builds an unshakable inner strength that empowers you to overcome temptations, distractions, and anything that tries to pull you away from your purpose. Fasting clears the mind and sharpens spiritual awareness, allowing a deeper connection to divine wisdom. In the midst of daily distractions, the noise of the world can drown out the voice of clarity and purpose. When the body is disciplined through fasting, the mind becomes more focused and the spirit more receptive. It is in these moments of sacrifice that profound insights emerge, revealing direction, understanding, and solutions that were once clouded by physical and mental clutter. When the body is constantly fed and indulged, it can become dull and sluggish, making it harder to perceive higher truths. But when you temporarily set aside physical nourishment, your inner self becomes more attuned to wisdom that transcends logic and human reasoning. The clarity that comes from fasting is not just about thinking more clearly. It is about seeing life from a greater perspective. You begin to discern opportunities and dangers that were previously hidden, make decisions with greater confidence, and receive guidance that aligns with a greater purpose. This mental and spiritual sharpness extends to every area of life. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable become manageable because you are no longer relying solely on your own limited understanding. The distractions that once consumed your attention lose their grip, and what truly matters comes into focus. Fasting does not just cleanse the body, it removes the barriers that prevent you from walking in clarity, wisdom, and purpose. Fasting strengthens discipline, training both the mind and body to submit to a higher purpose. In life, the ability to control desires, impulses, and distractions is essential to achieving great things. Without discipline, dreams remain distant, and potential is wasted. When you fast, you are practicing self-control at its highest level. You are telling your body that it is not in charge, but rather your spirit and purpose are leading the way. Many people struggle with consistency, whether in their goals, habits, or faith. They start strong but lose momentum when challenges arise. Fasting builds endurance, teaching you how to persevere even when things become uncomfortable. It reinforces the truth that discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. It helps you master your emotions so you are no longer controlled by cravings, fears, or temporary circumstances. Instead, you develop a deep-rooted strength that allows you to stay focused on what truly matters. True discipline is not just about avoiding distractions. It is about training yourself to choose what is best over what is easy. When you fast, you are rewiring your mind to prioritize long-term growth over short-term satisfaction. This level of mastery does not stay confined to fasting. It spills over into every area of life. Suddenly you find yourself more disciplined in your work, more consistent in your relationships, and more committed to your purpose. The strength you build in moments of sacrifice becomes the foundation for lasting success. Fasting sharpens your ability to hear and discern the right path for your life. In a world filled with distractions, noise, and endless demands, it can be difficult to recognize the voice of wisdom, direction, and purpose. Many people live in confusion, uncertain about their next steps because they have not created space to listen. When you fast, you quiet the distractions that cloud your judgment and make room for deeper understanding. Clarity does not come from merely wishing for it. It comes from intentional separation from the things that dull your sensitivity. When the body is constantly occupied with satisfying physical cravings, the mind becomes foggy and the spirit is drowned out by the noise of the world. Fasting removes this interference, making you more receptive to the insights, wisdom, and direction that have always been there but were previously unheard. When your mind and heart are aligned with clarity, you begin to see beyond the surface. Situations that once seemed confusing become clear. Decisions that felt overwhelming become simple. You begin to recognize patterns, understand lessons, and move with confidence. Clarity allows you to step forward boldly without hesitation or fear. It removes the weight of uncertainty and replaces it with a deep knowing that you are on the right path. Through fasting, you train yourself to depend less on external confirmations and more on the inner guidance that has been placed within you. You no longer move through life guessing or second guessing. You walk with a certainty that comes from being fully in tune with your purpose. Fasting strengthens your self-discipline, teaching you mastery over your desires rather than being ruled by them. Too many people live as prisoners to their own cravings, whether it's food, entertainment, comfort, or validation. They move through life reacting rather than leading, controlled by whatever impulse rises at the moment. But true success, true growth, comes when you learn to govern yourself instead of being governed by your desires. When you fast, you make a decision to deny your body something it naturally craves. That alone is an act of power. Every time you resist the urge to eat, every time you choose focus over distraction, you are training yourself in discipline. And discipline is the foundation of every great achievement in life. No person rises to greatness without first mastering themselves. Fasting teaches you that hunger does not control you. Cravings do not define you. Temporary discomfort does not have to dictate your actions. When you can say no to something as fundamental as food, you gain confidence in your ability to say no to other distractions, temptations, and habits that do not serve your purpose. You realize that you are in charge, not your stomach, not your emotions, not the pressures around you. This mastery extends beyond fasting. The discipline you build spills over into every area of your life. You start making better choices with your time, your energy, your relationships, and your commitment. You no longer operate on impulse. You operate with intention. That is the difference between living an ordinary life and living an extraordinary one. And it all begins with the power to discipline yourself. Fasting sharpens your spiritual discernment, allowing you to hear with clarity and see with understanding. Too often, life is filled with noise, distractions, responsibilities, the expectations of others, and the endless chatter of the world. In this environment, it becomes difficult to distinguish between what is important and what is simply urgent. Many people make decisions based on pressure rather than wisdom, reacting instead of responding. But when you fast, you quiet the external noise so that you can tune in to the deeper frequency of divine wisdom. There is a realm of knowledge that is not found in books, a level of insight that cannot be taught in a classroom. It comes only when you align yourself with a high understanding. Fasting opens the door to that realm. It removes the static of everyday life and puts you in a position to receive direction that is not clouded by emotions, fear, or personal ambition. You begin to discern what is truly meant for you, what path to take, what opportunities are distractions, and which ones are divine appointments. The ability to hear clearly is one of the greatest advantages a person can have. So many go through life making choices based on assumptions, on trends, on what seems logical. But there is something beyond logic. There is wisdom that comes from connection, from deep alignment with purpose. And fasting refines that connection. It awakens your spiritual senses, allowing you to perceive truths you may have overlooked before. You stop being tossed around by uncertainty and start moving with clarity, with confidence, and with conviction. Fasting brings a deeper sense of self-control, teaching you how to master your desires rather than be ruled by them. The greatest battles in life are not the ones we fight externally, but the ones that take place within us. Every person is engaged in an unseen war between their higher self, the part that longs for purpose, discipline, and wisdom, and their lower nature, which seeks comfort, pleasure, and instant gratification. The ability to master oneself is the foundation of true power. When you fast, you train yourself to say no to things that may feel good in the moment but do not serve your higher calling. You break the cycle of dependency on food, habits, or distractions that have silently controlled your decisions. You develop the ability to resist, to wait, to endure, and to focus on what truly matters. This strength extends beyond the period of fasting. It becomes a permanent part of your character. Many people struggle with self-discipline, not because they lack strength, but because they have never exercised it. Fasting is the gym of the soul, where you build the muscle of self-control. It teaches you that you are not at the mercy of cravings, emotions, or impulses. You have authority over them. And when you master yourself, you gain the ability to master every area of your life. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop making choices out of habit and start making them out of purpose. You become the leader of your own destiny, no longer swayed by momentary desires, but anchored in lasting wisdom. Fasting unlocks a new level of clarity, allowing you to hear the voice of divine wisdom more clearly than ever before. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and endless demands, it is easy to lose sight of your purpose and direction. The mind becomes cluttered, the heart becomes restless, and decisions are often clouded by fear, doubt, and uncertainty. But when you fast, you silence the noise. You step away from the things that have been competing for your attention, and in that stillness, you gain the ability to discern what is truly important. Many times, people struggle with confusion, unsure of the next step to take, trapped in cycles of indecision. The answers they seek are not far away. They have simply been buried beneath the distractions of life. Fasting removes those distractions. It creates an environment where wisdom can flow freely, where your spirit can align with the truth that has been waiting to guide you all along. You begin to see things differently, not just with your physical eyes, but with the eyes of understanding. Situations that once seemed overwhelming suddenly become clear. Questions that once tormented your mind begin to unravel with ease. This level of clarity is what separates those who wander from those who walk with purpose. It is what allows you to make decisions with confidence, knowing that you are being led by something greater than your own limited understanding. When your mind is clear, your path becomes clear. When your spirit is tuned in, direction comes naturally. Fasting is not just about denying yourself food. It is about making room for insight, wisdom, and revelation. It is about stepping into a realm where distractions lose their grip and you become fully aware of the purpose, vision, and destiny set before you. Fasting is a gateway to transformation, a sacred discipline that refines and renews every aspect of life. When the body is denied its usual comforts, the spirit rises to take its rightful place. The distractions that once seemed impossible to overcome begin to fade, and a deeper strength emerges, one that is not dependent on external circumstances, but rooted in an unshakable foundation. This transformation is not just physical. It touches the mind, the heart, and the soul, molding a person into who they were always meant to be. In this process, old habits lose their power, and destructive patterns are broken. The very things that once controlled your life, fear, doubt, anxiety, are weakened, and a new level of self-discipline takes their place. Fasting is a furnace where impurities are burned away, leaving behind a refined, sharpened, and empowered individual. It is in this space that identity is rediscovered, confidence is rebuilt, and purpose becomes undeniable. True transformation is never an event. It is a process, and fasting accelerates that process, stripping away the unnecessary, unlocking potential, and ushering in a season of breakthrough. The person who enters a fast is not the same person who comes out of it. There is a renewal, a reawakening, a shift that cannot be ignored. The mind becomes clearer, the heart becomes lighter, and the spirit becomes stronger. This is the power of fasting. It brings change, not only to circumstances, but to the very core of who you are. Fasting is not just about abstaining from food. It is about making room for transformation. It is a reset button for the body, mind, and spirit, realigning life with a higher purpose. In the stillness of sacrifice, clarity emerges, wisdom increases, and inner strength is fortified. The distractions of the world fade, allowing a deeper connection with purpose and destiny. Through fasting, discipline is strengthened, self-mastery is developed, and barriers that once seemed impossible to overcome are broken. It is in this process that true power is revealed. Not the power that comes from external success, but the kind that comes from within, unshaken by circumstances. Life is full of demands, pressures, and challenges, but those who embrace the discipline of fasting position themselves for greater insight, direction, and breakthroughs. It is an invitation to go beyond the ordinary and step into the extraordinary, where transformation is not just an idea, but a reality. Those who understand and apply this principle will walk in strength, wisdom, and divine purpose, prepared for everything life brings their way.